Tell me what you want me to say. Why things gotta be this way? Tell me to leave, then you tell me to stay. He broke your heart, now you say you're okay. Tell me what you want me to say. Why things gotta be this way? Tell me to leave, then you tell me.
Hey guys, it's your girl Alyssa. I just wanted to do a story time and talk about the time that I got into a really bad car accident. So I had basically just turned 18 and I went to go hang out with family. I went with my godmother and we were supposed to hang out, and we ended up going to a Mexican restaurant. You know, people were drinking. I wasn't drinking at the time. I was drinking a lot of Pepsis, and we were eating Mexican food, which is one of my favorites. And when it came time to go home, I'm thinking, oh, we're gonna take the subway home. But it turns out that she ended up having her fiance come pick us up. And you know, when you have that gut feeling, you should really follow that gut feeling because it's true. Like, whatever gut feeling you're having, like if it's bad, don't do it. So we ended up, like, they ended up having a couple drinks. We ended up getting in the car. And sometimes when I'm in the car, I don't put my seatbelt on. This is terrible. And I realized that day that this is terrible. But for some reason, I had that, like, bad gut feeling, like, put your seatbelt on. Like, I don't know, something just felt off. And I was like, let me put my seatbelt on, you know? So we were driving on the FDR. And next thing you know, we get into a car accident. And I remember it happening so fast, it wasn't even funny. Like, the music was blasting in the car. They were driving. I was in the back seat. I was in the back seat on the right side of the car. And it was like an armrest in the middle of like both the seats. So it was an armrest here, and I'm like leaning my arm on it. I got my phone in my hand, and I'm like texting. And for some reason, I kept looking at the speed. Like, I kept looking at it when he was driving. And next thing you know, we crashed. So we ended up going to the right. Mind you, I'm on the right side in the back seat. We ended up going to the right because he was swerving so he wouldn't hit a car in front of us. So we swerved to the right. We ended up hitting a concrete lane divider, and that basically bounced us back into traffic. And then we got rammed in the butt of the car. And I just happened to be on the right side in the passenger seat in the back. So I basically took two impacts. So one was when we moved to the right, like when we swerved to the right. So I remember somehow, like, the window was open and my phone it flew out the car. My phone literally flew out the car, and I don't know where it went. It went like somewhere like on the pier, because in New York City we have a pier where you could like walk on and like jog and stuff like that. It flew out the car. Thank God I had that seatbelt on, because the second impact was when we got hit in the butt, and the seatbelt I basically got whiplash, if you want to say. Like, I went forward, and thank God I had the seatbelt holding me, and then I went back. And I remember my chest was like on fire, burning. Like, everything was going so fast. My adrenaline was pumping, and I couldn't believe what was happening. And the whole entire time, I'm thinking, like, I want my mom. That was the first thought on my mind. Like, I want my mom right now. And my godmother's phone flew out the car as well. She ended up finding her phone, like, when she got out the car real quick. But like, I was still in the car. I like removed the seatbelt just so like I could like relax, because I couldn't believe everything that was going on. Everything happened so fast. And I just kept thinking, like, I want my mom. Like, where is my mom? I need my mom at this moment. Like, I was freaking out. And, like, the car, it was one of those electric cars. So the firefighters ended up coming, and the car, they had to turn it off. They had to, like, manually turn the car off because it didn't want to turn off. And I didn't see what the car looked like when we got in the car accident because I was still in the car. So, like, my godmother had got her phone. Her phone was cracked. Like, the light was on, but the screen was black, and no one knew, like, where the hell my phone went. It just flew out the car. So I remember like the firefighters came and like it made me like the firefighter ambulance people came and it made me nervous because like I've never been in a car accident. I've never experienced anything crazy like without my mom being there. My mom was always one of the people who was there whenever like anything crazy happened to me, like when I broke my leg or like if I twisted my ankle. So the firefighter ambulance people came and they like took me out the car. First they put a neck brace on me. Then they took me out the car and they put me on a stretcher. So I was literally laying flat on a stretcher. So like I'm looking up. I can't really like see to the left or to the right of me. I could like see a little bit, but not a lot. So I couldn't see what the car looked like. I just knew like we got in a really bad car accident. And then we went to the hospital and so I was still 18 at the time, so I was in the pediatric side while they were in the like adult side, and they had me on a stretcher, waiting in the hallway, like a hospital hallway, just waiting on a stretcher, and I kept telling the nurse like I have to pee, I have to pee, like I drank like 4 freaking cups of Pepsi at the restaurant, which I was definitely regretting at this moment because I had to pee so freaking bad. So they ended up taking me out of the hallway and ended up putting me in one of the rooms inside of like the pediatrics area. Like I ended up getting one of the rooms and I was alone in the room, freaking out. My adrenaline was pumping. I just kept thinking like I want my mom. Like I didn't like the fact that I was alone. It was scaring me. I was nervous. Like let's just say everything was running through my mind. I didn't feel the pain because my adrenaline was pumping. So like I remember the nurse came in when we were in the room and I told her again like I have to pee really bad. Like she asked me, oh well, let's see if you can get up. Like I was laying back on the stretcher. She put it up a little bit, like slowly. She put the stretcher like up so I could like be a little bit tilted up. And she's like, okay, let's see if you can get up and you can go use the bathroom. If you can get up, I'll walk with you to the bathroom. I remember I was like, okay. I leaned forward a little bit. My back said click, click, click. I was like, oh, no, I can't get up. I can't do it. And that was the moment that I really started to freak out because, you know, it's just like, oh, getting up out of your bed or like getting up of a chair. Like, I was like, oh no, like I have to pee really bad. And then I started apologizing. She had just went to go get a bedpan so that I can pee. And I don't know like what was going on, but like as soon as she walked in the room, like I started apologizing. I was like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. I was like, I just peed, like I couldn't hold it in. And oh my God, when I say I felt so embarrassed, like I literally just like peed. I was wearing a green dress. I literally peed on myself. Like, you know, like a little baby. And I was just like in shock. I couldn't believe, oh my God, I just like freaking peed my pants. Like this is not like, whoa. She's like, no, it's okay. This happens. It might have been like the pressure like of the car accident, like, you know, like the way the car moved me and stuff like that. She's like, it's okay. It's all right. Bro, I was so freaking embarrassed. Like it wasn't even funny. Like, and then like later on, she ended up bringing me like sweatpants and a shirt. But that was one of the most embarrassing moments of my life. Like I literally just peed in a fucking dress in a damn hospital bed right in front of the damn nurse. Like why me? So I remember like I ended up getting up later on when we was at the hospital and I told the lady, I was like, I want to call my mom, but I couldn't remember my mom's phone number. I guess like everything that was going on, I couldn't remember my mom's phone number. And I didn't have my phone. It flew out the car. My aunt's phone didn't work. So it was like no way of contacting my mom. So I remember I called my boyfriend and I was like, hey babe, it's me. Don't freak out. I'm in the hospital. And he goes, what do you mean don't freak out? You're in the hospital. What's going on? I was like, we got into a car accident and like my phone flew out the car. So I'm going to need you to call my mom and like let her know I'm in New York Presbyterian Hospital downtown or whatnot. So My mom ended up calling the hospital and they ended up putting me on the phone with her, and she asked me like if everything was okay and how I was feeling and stuff like that. So my mom stood home with my siblings and she sent my dad in the car. Oh my god. So my dad came in, and when he came in, they had took me out of that room and they had put me on the side. So like I was like right in front of the nursing station in the hallway on the side. So I was there. I still had the neck brace on. I was like sitting up a little bit. I was calm. Well, I feel like I think I was calm at that moment. I wasn't freaking out. But then again, my adrenaline was super high at that point. So I wasn't feeling nothing. And they had given me I think they gave me Tylenol. So I remember I was sitting there and my godmother had like just came to my side, and like her like fiance was like down the hall like using the bathroom. So he was this way down the hall using the bathroom, and my dad came in this way, and my dad goes, "Oh, so my daughter's not okay. She got a neck brace on. She's not okay, and you're perfectly fine just walking." That man literally was walking like towards us. My dad said that, and he walked back to the bathroom, like literally. So then my dad comes up to me and he's asking me like how am I feeling and stuff like that. And they ended up doing an x-ray on me, and the x-ray showed like I didn't have any broken bones, so that was good. And then my dad wanted them to do an MRI because my mom works at the hospital. She's like, I want everything done to make sure she's perfectly fine. So my dad was talking to one of the people in the hospital. He's like, I want an MRI done on her because like I want to make sure my daughter's okay. I want to make sure like when we get home and it's time to go to sleep, she doesn't go to sleep and not wake up, because like you never know. You could have like internal bleeding and stuff like that, and everything doesn't show on an x-ray. And just because I'm talking to you right now and I'm fine doesn't mean that when I go to sleep, like, I'm going to wake up from sleeping. You know what I'm saying? So the doctor was, like, talking about my ovaries, and he was just using the wrong terms. He's like, oh, I don't want to fry her eggs because it's a lot of radiation and blah, 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 blah. And my dad was just not having it. My dad was like, I'm going to need you to do the MRI, like I said, because I don't want to go home and my daughter go to sleep and she never wakes up. This is my kid. You're going to do the damn MRI. So they ended up doing the MRI. We ended up getting the results. I remember the doctor said, was it a guy or was it a girl? I don't remember if it was a guy or... No, I'm lying. It was a guy. He was like, so you're going to go home. He's like, you're going to feel worse tomorrow and you're going to feel worse the day after. And I remember I was like freaking out. I was like, oh my God, I have to go to work tomorrow. Like, this can't be happening. So he gave me a prescription of Tylenol. He just told me just a lot of rest, like stay in bed, like, just relax. So I remember the next day, I stood in bed. I called my job. I was like, I'm not going to be able to make it in. I got into a car accident yesterday. I had like a doctor's note. I was like, whenever I come back to work, I'll bring you guys a doctor's note. At that time, I was working in American Eagle. So, yeah. I was literally 18. So, I remember the next day, I woke up and I was feeling like I done got hit with a bag of bricks. Somebody done, like, beat the crap out of me. Like, it was bad. It was very bad. But I remember what the doctor said. He's like, you're going to feel worse tomorrow and you're going to feel worse the following day. And he was like, if you still feel like crap a week later, like, come in and then we'll do like more tests and stuff like that. So I remember a few days after the accident, I couldn't bend down. Like, you know how you could be standing like this and you could like bend down. I couldn't bend down. So that was step one of, this is the issue that I'm having. And then step two was like, you know how you could like turn your neck side to side? I could not turn my neck side to side. Like, I was literally like, I had to turn my whole body to the side. I couldn't turn my neck to the sides, and I could not bend down, and it was really bad. And I found that out when I went back to work. So like a few days after the car accident, like, you want to get back to regular life. So I went back to work, and I remember like a shirt or something, like a customer like dropped it on the floor and they left it on the floor. and I like tried to bend down to pick it up, and ooh, when I say I was in so much pain, like I couldn't bend down. Like one of my coworkers had to bend down and pick it up for me, and like I ended up going to my manager, and like I told her like I have to, like I have to go home. Like I can't bend, like I can't bend down and I can't turn my neck. Like that's how bad it was. So I remember me and my mom, we ended up talking to one of my aunts, because at that moment it was like, okay, something's wrong with you, this is serious, this is not regular, like, you know, because on a regular day-to-day basis you bend down, you move your neck side to side, you know, that's just the regular stuff you do. I was like, okay, I can't do this, I'm in excruciating amount of pain, like this is not normal, this is not like I wanted to, like, and the funny part is I kept saying like, oh, I'm okay, I'm perfectly fine, but I was not perfectly fine. I was definitely in denial because I didn't want them to tell me like something's wrong with me. I'm like, oh no, it'll go away, like, you know, this is what happens like a few days after a car accident, you know, when it's really not what happens a few days after a car accident. So I ended up talking to my aunt. She gave us like her lawyer's number. We ended up calling the lawyer. He said, okay, come down to meet us, you guys. And like we ended up explaining to him what happened, like how I got into a car accident and stuff like that. So he said, we're gonna have x-rays and MRIs done again just to see if anything's wrong, because when they first did the MRIs, like we still hadn't got the results back. Like for some reason we didn't get the results back straight away. So when we did the x-ray and the MRIs the second time, and I went back to him for him to read me the results, he was a chiropractor. I like when he read those results, like my heart like skipped a beat, and I couldn't believe everything that was going on, and I couldn't believe like how this one night like drastically changed my life. I'm not gonna cry right now as much as I want to. I could feel my eyes getting watery. Like I couldn't believe that I'm 18 and like this is happening to me and this is real. This is not like a dream. I'm not gonna wake up and like everything be perfectly fine. So he ended up reading the results to me, and it turns out that I have 6 herniated discs in my spine. So I have 2 in my neck, 2 in my mid, and 2 in my lower back. Oh, and I had tendonitis in my right shoulder. So yeah, and he was like, so we're gonna get you started on a regimen. So you're gonna have chiropractic care 3 times a week, and you're gonna have therapy 3 times a week. It'll be in this location, and your mobility will get back to normal. He was like, it's not gonna fix the issue for the rest of your life, and then like, you know what I'm saying, it's not gonna fix the issue for the rest of your life, but it's gonna make it that you can go back to doing specific things that you used to do. So like now I could turn my neck, I could bend down and stuff like that. I just can't lift stuff that weighs like a certain amount of pounds because it'll cause me an excruciating amount of pain in my back. If I cry or like I get mad, I'll tensen up, and like my neck will start killing me. Like it will start hurting me so bad to the point that I'm like, no bitch, like you can't cry, because if you cry it's gonna hurt, you're gonna be in pain. It's that bad. Like right now I'm a little bit tense talking about this, because it's like it's something that's serious and something that'll affect me like for the rest of my life. And I did therapy 3 times a week. They used to put like heat pads on me after I did therapy. Then I used to have chiropractic care after that. So it was 3 times a week. It lasted for 6 months. And then after that, it was 2 times a week for I think like 3 months. And then that was it. But like, I still have to live with this pain day to day. So like some days are better than others. Some days I don't feel it at all. Some days I feel it more than others. The main area that I really feel it is like in my mid back, and it's like right in between like my shoulders in my spine. Like that's the main area that I feel it in. Like if I lift stuff that weighs too much, that's usually where it hurts. I remember he tried to give me a back brace, and I wore it for one day, but it was just like, it's one of those back braces that has like the Velcro here, it was just too tight on me here, and if I had it loose, I felt like it wasn't doing its purpose, and it was too tight that it was actually hurting my back. So like if I have my bra too tight, like my back will start to hurt. Like that's another thing as well. And I remember just sitting there, and he's telling me like more than likely like you're gonna get arthritis and stuff like that. And like as soon as he walked out the room, I instantly started to cry, because it's like this one night is gonna affect me for the rest of my life. And I didn't think that depression was real. I thought that was like mind over matter, like, you know, if you're strong, like that won't happen to you. I thought it was for weak people, and I was wrong. I was very wrong for that, and I was dumb to think that, because it is real. And I feel like this shook me to the core, and it really bothered me. I was in so much pain every single day, and I used to act like I wasn't in pain and like everything was perfectly alright and I was fine, but I wasn't. Like I couldn't go out with my friends, I couldn't work, like I couldn't do a lot of things. And I remember I used to complain like, oh my god, my manager, blah 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 at work. But I missed work so bad. Like I missed my day-to-day life. I missed going out with my friends, like to the movies, or like going shopping, hanging out, going to restaurants. Like I remember when I sat for a long time, my back would kill me. If I like stood up for too long, standing, my back would kill me. Like I remember when I used to go to sleep at night, it used to like I was laying down and I would feel like I'm still sitting up, because like that's the amount of pain that I used to be in. And I hid most of it, because I'm the type of person like I don't want people to see me cry, because I feel like if I cry, that shows that like I'm weak. But sometimes you have to cry and you have to let it out. I remember I used to go in the shower, and when I used to be in the shower, I want to say like maybe like every other day, I used to cry in the shower, because I used to think about life, and I used to think about like, you know, you plan your future out, and you're like, yeah, in the future you want to do specific things with your kids. And I think that really bothered me, and I didn't want to admit it, but that really bothered me, because I felt like I got robbed of certain moments in life that I won't be able to have and experience with my kids. Like I remember I used to think like you know how you hold babies and like you hold your kids, even if they're like 4 and 5 and stuff like that. Sometimes you just hold them and you pick them up and you give them like piggyback rides. Like I remember I used to think of that, and I used to think like my kids, like once they get to a certain point, like I'm not gonna be able to like pick them up, and I'm not gonna be able to like carry them and stuff like that, because it's gonna cause me like pain. And it's like you want to experience those things in life with your children, and it really bothered me, and I never admitted that it bothered me. I'm not gonna cry. I feel the tears coming on, but I'm not. I promise you, I'm not gonna cry in this camera. But those are some of the things that bothered me. I remember I used to think like I'm never gonna be able to like go on a roller coaster again. I'm scared of heights, mind you. When I was younger, I used to love roller coasters. Now that I'm older, I'm scared of heights. And it's because of my mom, I'm scared of heights. She was always the person to make you freak out and get nervous when it came time to go on a roller coaster. But I used to think like I'm never gonna get to like go on a roller coaster with my kids in the future. You know, like you wanna have those moments. And I felt like those moments got taken away from me. And like it hurt. It hurt real bad. And I didn't want to admit that. I remember I used to think like I'm not gonna be able to go down like the slides and the water parks and stuff like that with my kids. You know, you wanna take your kids to Disneyland, and you wanna take them on their first roller coaster ride, and you wanna be there for like every monumental moment, something that they're gonna remember for like the rest of their life. And it bothered me so damn bad. And I remember I used to stand there in the shower and literally cry my eyes out because I didn't want nobody to see me cry. And I absolutely hated going to the doctor because every time I would go like to see the chiropractor and I had like specific doctor's appointments, they would ask me like, "Oh, on a scale from 1 to 10, what's your pain?" And it's like it was constantly like an 8. It was constantly like an 8. And I was in pain almost all the time. And they would ask me, "Oh, on a scale from 1 to 10, what's your pain?" And I freaking hated that question. I really hated that damn question because it's like my answer hasn't changed yet. Like I'm still in pain. I don't want to admit I'm in pain, but I'm in pain. Like it's like, every freaking doctor's visit for that, basically, I felt like it lasted a whole year. It lasted probably like 9 months to like a year, but every doctor's appointment they would ask me that damn question. And it was just like, it irked the living hell out of me. It really did. Because it's like, I wouldn't be here if I wasn't in pain. And you keep asking me like if the answer is gonna change from today to tomorrow when it's really not. But it's been a few years later. That happened when I was 18. Right now I'm 24 and I'm not thinking too far ahead in life because it's like, all right, I'm not at those stages yet. Like I don't want to think too much about specific things because if I think too much about it, it's gonna bother me. And I feel like now I'm in a better place. Like, yes, I went through something terrible and it made me have to change how I do specific things. Like, I remember when I went back to work in the beginning, I thought I was He-Woman. I used to be lifting boxes before the car accident happened and stuff like that. Like, oh, it's nothing. This is the regular day. And I remember when I went back to work, that was different when I went back to work. So first off, American Eagle tried to tell me that if I didn't come back to work within a specific amount of time, that they were gonna let me go. And then when I finally was able to go back to work, my manager, I'm not gonna say his name. He was like the store manager. It was like a couple managers underneath him, but he was like the main store manager. He tried me. Oh, you best believe he tried me. He was talking about, at the time I used to be a stylist, and when you work in American Eagle and you're a stylist, you get specific discounts. And he tried to tell me that, oh, since I missed the meeting that they had on Sunday, that I can't be a stylist and I can't get my employee discount. Mind you, I was literally out of work for that amount of time that the meeting was. And on top of that, I had a note stating that I could not be at work from my doctor. So the fact that he tried to play me like that, I thought it was hilarious. It was honestly hilarious to me. And I remember that day I got so pissed off because like, I wanted to punch him in the face so bad, but I when you're so angry and you can't do nothing about it. I remember I went into the bathroom and I started crying. And I called my mom and I'm like, this guy is trying to play me right now. Like, I'm the type that I work hard. So the fact that you're trying to play me right now is pissing me off. And it's like, I was so excited to go back to work. And like, he literally ruined my first day back at work. I was like, yes, I'm back at work after being off for such a long time. Like, I missed my coworkers. I missed just doing something with my day. You know what I'm saying? Besides like being at home. And he legit ruined my damn day. And it pissed me the hell off. But that's another story for another day. So I just wanted you guys to know that just because you get in a really bad accident and your life changes, I want you guys to not think too much into it. Because if you think too much into it, you're going to get depressed. And yes, I did get into a car accident. Yes, I have 6 herniated discs. But that doesn't mean that I can't experience life and do specific things. I think I was thinking too far into the future, and that's really what was bothering me. When I gotta take it day by day. I have to do my own thing. Like when I went back to work, yeah, I couldn't lift up heavy boxes. I had to find other ways to do my job. But you're gonna find other ways to do the things you enjoy and you love in life. It's not gonna come to you quick. Sometimes it's gonna take time. But I just wanted you guys to know that there is a light at the end of the tunnel. Like, depression is not gonna last forever, and sometimes you need to talk about it with people, and don't feel ashamed to talk about it. Like, at that time, the only person I was talking to about it with was my boyfriend and my best friend. For everybody else, I was putting on like a happy face and like, life is good, when it really wasn't. But it really does help to talk about it and express your feelings and let people know, like, I'm not okay, like, I'm in pain. It doesn't work if you let everything like bottle up and you keep it inside, because then you end up just blowing up. And I don't want to be that person. I don't want to always think about like, oh my god, my back hurts, I can't do this, I can't do that. I just gotta take things one day at a time and not think too much about it. Like, it's been a couple years and I haven't had any issues so far in my life. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes I'm in a little bit of pain, sometimes I'm not. Like, I try not to look too into it. Like, I'm still alive. I didn't fly out the car. I get to hug and hold my family. Maybe not right now because of COVID, but I still get to live. I get to do specific things that I want to do in life. I can see all my family members and stuff like that. I can experience life. Don't let one day make you miserable, and don't let one thing ruin everything for you. Don't think about it too much. Talk about your feelings. Let people know what's really going on. Yes, you can cry. You're not weak if you cry. Everybody cries, and I learned that lesson. Like, I cried so much, it's not even funny. But it felt good to finally let someone in and let them know like how I'm feeling and like what's really going on. It was such a relief. It was honestly a relief for me. And I just want you guys to follow your instincts. If you feel like something's bad or like you shouldn't do it, or you just feel like negative energy, listen to your intuition. Your intuition's always right. My intuition that day was to put my seatbelt on. Something told me like, you should put your seatbelt on. And I didn't put my seatbelt on, and look what happened. No, I'm lying. The guy didn't put my seatbelt on. I had my seatbelt on, I'm bugging. But what I'm saying is, like, if I didn't have my seatbelt on that day, I would have flew out the car and probably died. I probably wouldn't be here making this video. The fact that I put my seatbelt on, that saved my life. So make sure every time you get into a car, I don't care if it's your mom, your dad, your friend, whoever it is driving, make sure you have your seatbelt. Your life is valuable. Your life matters to other people. Even if you think it doesn't, it does. You affect somebody every single day, and you're important. You matter to the world. And I just wanted to let you guys know that. If you guys want to hear any other story times, let me know, and I might post some more. Make sure you guys like, share, and subscribe, and don't forget to hit the post notification bell so you can get notified every time we post videos. Bye, guys.
They take your food off my plate, so don't tell me relax. I see you living real good. This is your luxury tax.